Next on SportsCenter, Stockton to Malone equals a locked series and a few laughs for the mailman.
Sometimes the guys on SportsCenter laugh about Stockton to Malone again.
A career year for Bobby Jones continues in Cincinnati. The NHL offseason has begun, so pack your bags, coaches.
Coaching's a great job, but if you don't mind moving, it's kind of like the Navy. You get to see the world.
This guy agrees he's back behind the bench, and we'll tell you where. Our cover story examines the troubling connection between the Russian mafia and the NHL. Plus a story of how Tiger Woods has inspired a Midwestern family. And Brett Perryman may find the Midwest inspirational as well. So clean your plate for No SportsCenter next.
We hope your week's off to a good start. Good evening, everybody. We're with you till 7:30 p.m. Eastern and the Tiger Woods effect alongside Charley Steiner with Chris McKendry over there. We'll get to her in a minute. And I'm Jack Edwards.
We're going to lead it off this week with baseball and the only Monday matinee of the day. And you know, over the past 3 seasons, while the Mets were busy losing, Bobby Jones was busy winning. But nobody knew about it or much less cared. Now the Mets are winning again, and Bobby Jones is winning even more. He began the day with 10 wins, most in the National League, at a 2.22 ERA, fifth stingiest in the NL, as the Mets were wrapping up a 3-game series in Cincinnati, trying to avert a sweep. And so on this day, Bobby Jones was called upon in his new role as the stopper.
He made the talk over with one of his players.
Bottom of the first, no score. Runners at first and third. Willie Green with a ground ball to first. John Olerud makes the play at the plate. Mike Kelly is out. Still scoreless as we go to the top half of the second. 1-0 Mets. Butch Husky on third. And Bobby Jones helps his cause with a base hit into right field. Husky scores easily. 2-0 New York. Bottom of the seventh, Jones runs into trouble. 2 out with a runner at second. Jeff Branson takes him deep to right center field. That would be a 2-run shot, and Branson's first of the year ties the score at 2. In the top half of the eighth, trouble for Cincinnati. Runners on third. Stan Belinda with a wild pitch. John Olerud scores easily. Mets go on to win it 4-2. Story, though, Bobby Jones, another solid performance. 8 innings, 2 earned runs, 7 hits. Struck out 4 and didn't walk anybody. Jones, who's been the most consistent pitcher in the National League this season, won his 8th straight, matching a team record set by Tom Seaver and David Cohn. He has gone at least 7 innings and has given up less than 3 runs in each of those last 8 starts. In NFL free agent signing today, the Kansas City Chiefs bought themselves a speedy pass-catching threat. 31-year-old Brett Perryman, a 9-year veteran, inks a 2-year deal. Dollars not revealed. Perryman, who played his first 3 seasons in New Orleans, his last 6 in Detroit, caught 94 balls last year for 1,021 yards, almost 11 yards per catch, and 5 touchdowns. Jeff?
Role reversal. The Utah Jazz appear to have figured out what no team has been able to do in the last 2 years, to play outstanding winning basketball against the Chicago Bulls. In pulling into a 2-games-all tie in the NBA Finals, they have turned the table on the defending champions. It happened with a fateful twist, as mailman Karl Malone did deliver and Michael Jordan's late jumper did not. We relive Game 4 through the purple-visioned Hot Rod Hundley voice of the Jazz.
Jordan, right side, Michael, up top, 20-footer, no good, rebound, Stockton, ahead to Carbonell, he's got it, he scores, here's Jordan, up top, Jordan backs in, right corner, Kerr for 3, no good, rebound, Gerber, Hornacek, was he fouled? Timeout, Utah. He's hit 3 in a row, he missed his first of the game, here's the first one, he made it, big free throw. Everybody on their feet. Crowd set at the line. The free throw on the way. Good. Perfect. Michael Jordan. Jordan for 3. In and out. Rebound. Knocked out. Stockton's got it. Stockton to Russell. 4 seconds. Russell. Drive. Hoop. Stand up. The Jazz win the game. Oh, baby. A half a second left. The Jazz were going to win it. Unbelievable. It's over. It's over. The series is tied.
If you could have suspended time right as the ball was in the air, Jerry would have probably strangled me for throwing it. But it got there, and it was one of those no, yes type deals. I know you guys get tired of hearing it because sometimes the guys on SportsCenter laugh about Stockton to Malone again, you know, stuff like that. But to me, that's a pass there that I'll remember. Out of all the great ones he's made, I'll remember this one right here probably for the rest of my career.
It's going to be games where I can't live up to the fantasy or the hype that people has built Michael Jordan to be.
Well, the fantasy didn't shoot too many bunnies last night. In 2 games in Chicago, Michael Jordan went to the line 28 times. In 2 games in Utah, he's gone to the line just 5 times, 0 last night. The team shot 85% from the line at home. It has shot just 60% in balloon-waving Utah. But how much has Utah's adjusted defensive strategy forced those numbers? Let's send it to Dan Patrick for more.
The series may be tied at 2 games apiece, but the Utah Jazz are 2/3 of the way towards completing a goal that was thought nearly impossible a week ago, beating the Bulls 3 consecutive times. The last time Chicago lost 3 in a row was January of 1995, when Michael Jordan was not with the team. In the finals, you have games and then games within the games. We saw one of those unfold in Game 4 between Greg Ostertag and Scottie Pippen.
He tried to take my knee out on the other end. And I just wanted to know, I remember that when I got down there, so I fouled him hard.
Well, he got 3 more games. He can get a lot of hard fouls at him because I got some more undercuts for him.
And I looked at him, told him, don't ever hit me like that again.
The Bulls ran into a similar scenario in the previous series. Alonzo Mourning had a hard foul on Scottie Pippen, and after that, Michael Jordan said the series became personal. Both teams met with the media on Monday. We have reports from both sides, beginning with Mark Schwartz and the Utah Jazz.
Dennis Rodman took his roadshow to the bright lights of Las Vegas Sunday night. That's not a big deal in itself. The fact that it came after the Bulls lost Game 4 of the NBA Finals raised some eyebrows on Monday.
I'm a guy that needs to be free and have his own surroundings and being around, you know, being caged and locked up. I can't do it. I got to, you know, let this excess energy out. I gotta go. And being here, I'm trapped.
Dennis needs to dissipate energy a lot of times. It builds up in him, and he's got to, you know, get rid of it, whether it's, you know, on the dance floor or, you know, whatever. That's an energy for him that he can get rid of a lot of this pent-up energy that he carries. So, you know, we say sure.
Since the Bulls were already scheduled to be off on Monday, Jackson gave Rodman permission to miss the team bus, go to Vegas, and rejoin the team on Monday for its media availability session. No one else seemed to mind much.
You know, it's his preference of what he wants to do after the game. You know, you would think that, you know, he would want to start to look and evaluate what's going on the court with himself. But, you know, as I stated, you know, it's his priority.
He also has to realize, and maybe he does, that he brings more focus and more criticism if he doesn't come back and play the type of basketball that everybody's expecting.
But Rodman isn't the only Bull who needs to clear his head.
I'm mentally and physically exhausted. You know? Going through things like this, it takes its toll on you. And I'm glad we have a 2-day period before next game.
Everyone expects that by Wednesday, Jordan will be Jordan again. But the Bulls' championship hopes still depend on 3 things: the will of Jordan, the skill of Pippen, and the thrill of Rodman.
You know, I can get back in my own groove, you know, and being back to, you know, energizing, you know, Dennis Rodman and, you know, being the funky Cold Medina. You know?
The Bulls have won 4 titles with their vaunted triangle offense. But in an effort to exploit an apparent mismatch in the post, Pippen versus Hornacek, Chicago may have abandoned some of what has always worked.
But, you know, Jordan wants him down there because it's a mismatch. So you got to go with King and say, right? King Jordan says get in the post, Pippen can get in the post.
Maybe I should have been a little bit more aggressive in yesterday's game, looking to score. I look to go in the next game to be a little bit more aggressive offensively when I do get the ball in the post.
Scotty, maybe that's not his game. I don't really know.
What the Jazz do know is that Michael Jordan is Chicago's deadliest post player, and putting Pippen on the low block means Jordan spends more time on the perimeter.
I like him out there better.
If you're trying to run Scotty down, there's only room for one guy in the post.
After being torched at the end of Game 1, Brian Russell has learned that reaching and leaping are not the best ways to contain Jordan. Clearly, though, Russell's learned more about MJ than MJ has about Russell.
Is it Byron or Brian? Brian, right?
No, I don't think I'm intimidated by Mike at all.
How come? I mean, most people are.
Why should I? I mean, he's human just like I am. He put on pants just like I do, one leg at a time.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. I hope so.
If there is a shade of doubt for Russell, there should be, because Superman has 2 days rest, and in the finals, that's always been bad news for the opposition. After all, when Michael has that much time off, he's come back to score more than 35 points per game while shooting 53%. Now, for more on the Bulls, here's David Aldridge.
Dr. Jack, quick to point out Dennis Rodman referring to a Tone Loc song. Is Dennis a distraction that he's going to Vegas?
I think so, Dan. His teammates want him to focus in on his game, get it where it should be. This guy led the league in rebounding with 16 a game. He's down to about 6 or 7 in the final series. Dennis Rodman needs to rebound. The Bulls have been out-rebounded in 3 of the 4 games.
Been fighting words between Greg Ostertag and Scottie Pippen. We're going to see more battles throughout the rest of the series, aren't we?
I think so. As playoffs progress, in each series, teams get more tuned into the other's offense. It becomes more physical play, and they get just a little tired of looking at each other.
I know the feeling. Our coverage of the NBA Finals will continue. For Jack Ramsey, I'm Dan Patrick. Let's go back to the studio.
Watch yourself under the boards there, Dan. Later, Jack rejoins Dan to look at the veterans who are deciding the outcome of this NBA Finals series. Jordan and Pippen, Stockton and Malone. We send it back to Salt Lake City in just a few minutes.
There's a new administration in Washington today. Ron Wilson, who was swept out of office in Anaheim last month after leading the Mighty Ducks to their first playoff appearance ever, named the new head coach of the Caps today. The 42-year-old Wilson was hired at the same time as the new GM in D.C., 38-year-old George McPhee. He had been a vice president of the Canucks in Vancouver. So they become one of the youngest front office pairings in the NHL.
I'm fortunate to show up here today at the MCI Center and coach what I think is potentially a Stanley Cup winning team. We're going to play an exciting brand of hockey. We're going to be in a brand new building. I think I'm in the most powerful city, not only in the United States, obviously, but the world, and I'm really looking forward to this opportunity.
The last 9 months for Ron Wilson have been, well, a life's experience, from leading Team USA to the upset win of the World Cup. The Ducks off to a miserable start, but a fantastic finish. Unemployment in May, but he's working again in June. And he replaces Jim Schoenfeld, who was fired by the Caps last week, but resurfaced in Phoenix this morning as the new coach of the Coyotes. The 44-year-old Schoenfeld was hired by Bobby Smith, with whom he played for Team Canada in 1981 and against during their intersecting playing careers.
Is present ideas. If we can get the players to buy into the ideas, then they're going to go on the ice, they're going to execute. Without their execution, it doesn't matter who the coach is, who the general manager is, or how great the plan is. It's not going to happen. The show, when you come to watch the Phoenix Coyotes, will be the hockey players. They'll get it done or they won't get it done. All we're doing, the general manager and the coaching staff, is trying to give them every reason to succeed.
Schoenfeld has always made a good first impression in his previous stints. If there's been a rap against Shawnee, it is that he's never taken any of his teams past the first round of the playoffs. He joins a franchise that hasn't lasted past the first round in their previous 6 appearances, dating back to the days of the Quebec Nordiques. Jack.
Yes, there is more, Charlie. The San Jose Sharks today named former Blackhawks coach Daryl Sutter as their bench boss. San Jose has put up the second worst record in the NHL 2 years in a row. Sutter's the Sharks' 5th coach in the team's 6 years. He's the first one with any NHL head coaching experience.
Discipline is a big word in it all in terms of the type of team that you have to be successful in the league. Discipline, and starting right with the players' preparation, their focus, their commitment to winning, and I believe it's there. I just think that it has to be brought out of them.
That is an optimist talking, because this team needs a lot of work. Sutter inherits the weakest offense in the league, one of the worst defenses, and no tradition. The Sharks never have finished over 500. If this team were a house, the euphemism in the ad would be fixer-upper, to say the least. From the blue shirts to the Blues, Rangers Vice President of Player Personnel Larry Plow today became the St. Louis Blues general manager. Plow takes control of a team which lost to eventual Stanley Cup champion Detroit in the first round and still is recovering from Mike Keenan's slash-and-burn tactics with what had been a decent club before he got there. Ex-Avalanche assistant Joel Quenneville has been the Blues coach since January 6th. Still to come on this Monday SportsCenter, the cover story. The Russian mafia's reach into pro sports, especially the National Hockey League. How deep is that reach, and how many players have had threats against them?
This extortion included threats to his family, requests for 6-figure payments, threats to blow up his car, and then actual acts of damaging his property and threatening people he lived with.
Also ahead, what is Tiger Woods' influence? Is he a force for social change, or is there another more practical side to his popularity? And Pedro Estacio may not be the most popular man on his manager's staff. The LA story, we're back in a flash.
I don't know. Never thought much about retiring. Figured I'd know when the time was right.
We're gonna miss you, Ted.
36 years. Started on DC-6s. Pretty much everything you needed to work on one, you found in the toolbox. Today, we use ultrasounds to check for microscopic voids. Use x-rays, boroscopes, magnetic imaging. Yeah, the tools have changed, but the job really hasn't. Ask anybody out here. They'll tell you, we're not just responsible for these planes. We're responsible for the people who get on them as well. That's the way it's always been. I'm proud to say for the past 36 years, I've been a small part of that.
Way to go, Ted.
Hey, Brett. These guys have a beer menu. This beer is made with lingonberries. Ooh, and this one has a dash of espresso. Aura of forbidden coconut. 2 Coors.
Since 1873. Original Coors. Pure and simple.
Peach medley.
You see this? This beer has beer in it.
The Yankees have won 3 in a row. The White Sox finish up their series with Baltimore, then head into New York. They're the first game of our Wednesday doubleheader. Then the Astros and always interesting Dodgers in the nightcap. We play 2 right after SportsCenter at 7:30 Eastern Time Wednesday night. Charlie?
Times are certainly tough in Dodger Town. There are a couple of games under 500. They've lost 9 of their last 12. And yesterday, for the second time in less than a week, one of the starting pitchers went nose-to-nose with manager Bill Russell. This time it was Pedro Estacio. He had to be restrained by Joey Malfitano. Last week, Ishmael Valdez and Russell had words in the dugout. Things not good in Dodger Town these days. Got some baseball bumps and bruises for you now. Frank Thomas has missed the past couple of games with a strained abdominal muscle, listed as day-to-day, but then again, aren't we all? And a game-time decision tonight when the Sox host the Orioles. The Reds reliever Jeff Brantley, not so lucky. He's going to have exploratory surgery on his shoulder tomorrow. No telling how long he's going to be out because at the moment there's no telling what's wrong. John Jaha, the Brewers' leading home run hitter last season with 34 of them and 118 RBIs to boot, will have his left shoulder scoped, and he's going to miss about a month. The NBA Championship Series is now simply the best 2 out of 3 with the Jazz in their syncopated rhythm drumming out the Bulls in Salt Lake. Can you imagine the Jazz and the Red Wings, the champions of this year's winter sports? All ahead when SportsCenter continues.
New Jersey drivers have waited too long for meaningful auto insurance reform. If you're tired of paying more for car insurance than drivers in any other state, now is the time for us to work together to change the system. One call to 1-888-REFORM-5 will put power in your hands and maybe more money in your pocket. Send for this free booklet that explains all the issues, because together we can make a difference. A message from the Allstate Insurance Company.
PC Richard and AT&T Wireless bring you new technology now in PCS cellular phones. Sign up now for just $24.99 a month and get 200 free minutes each month for 1 full year. Plus a free year of features including AT&T Caller ID, voicemail, and paging. Right now, get this Ericsson Digital PCS cellular phone for just $49. For PCS cellular phones, PC Richard & Son and AT&T Wireless give you new technology now.
It's such an honor to be with you today. But the crowd is waiting, so Tab, what's it to be? Tails or my likeness?
Your likeness, Your Majesty.
I knew you would say that. Here we go. Oh, my dear Tab, I can't help but feel as though I've let you down in some way.
Don't worry about it. Just a coin toss.
Right, right. Well, play fair. Carry on. It was just a coin toss. They haven't lost the game.
Dad, I want a pager. A Motorola?
Really? What's in it for me?
Dad, you want me? If I'm ever late, page me. See, we can make this connection, you know? I mean, I'm never gonna take it to school. I'll respond like that, and Dad, your pages come first.
You would do that for me? Would you do something else for me? Shave.
Motorola pagers to know now.
Put on a clean shirt.
Motorola, what you never thought possible.
Cover Story is brought to you by Motorola Pagers. With a Motorola pager, you know now.
Still deep in the Flyers zone. Here's Maltby dropping it to the line. Lidstrom hits the post. Oh, he scores! That's a goal by Lidstrom.
Darren McCarty comes back with Neiman in front of him. McCarty draws. McCarty in. McCarty scores! A magnificent goal! Darren McCarty! 3 seconds left. Into the zone. The Detroit Red Wings on the Stanley Cup champions!
It's my pleasure to present the Stanley Cup to Steve Yzerman.
Last time the Red Wings won the Stanley Cup, 1955. Scotty Bowman was 22 and had considerably more hair on his head. The Dodgers behind Johnny Padres would go on and finally beat the Yankees and win the World Series. Marty was the best movie of the year, and America still liked Ike.
We turn to Chris McHenry now for a story that really goes beyond just the facts presented. The emotional toll which is paid by some athletes far outreaches the financial price that they are paying as they are victims of extortion, some of them. Chris?
Yes, that too many of them are, Jack. The NHL champion Red Wings were more than any other team have taken great advantage of the hockey talent in Russia. And by the look on their faces Saturday night, the players are enjoying the opportunities. But sadly, it seems another organization is taking advantage of great Russian athletes. Only there's no benefit for the players. Since the fall of the Iron Curtain, the new commerce between East and West has brought some troubling issues to surface. Bob Lee has more in tonight's cover story.
Rumors of the Russian mafia's impact on Russian NHL players have been heard for several years. Last year, an anonymous Russian mafia witness cited the extortion of 3 Russian NHL players during a U.S. Senate hearing. 6 months ago, ESPN first reported the link between Pavel Bure, star of the Vancouver Canucks, and Russian mafia figure Anzor Kikalishvili. Bure acknowledged their relationship but said it involved legitimate business. Now, new evidence that the Russian mafia influence on North American sports is more extensive than previously believed.
After more than 100 interviews with NHL players, league and team officials, franchise owners, and player agents, that is the conclusion of a 15-month U.S. Senate investigation. League-wide, 50 players from the former Soviet Union, most of them Russian, skate in the NHL.
If you add in people who would know firsthand about extortions that occurred, I would venture to say, based upon our investigation, that a significant percentage of Russian hockey players skating in the NHL have been extorted in some way. Based upon the sample of players we spoke to, I would conclude that a third of the players had some direct involvement.
The NHL's vice president of security disputes that number.
I would say that's inflated as far as I was concerned. Kind of surprised at how he can pull this number out. We have asked for specifics and attempted to help him on many occasions. So I'm a little bit surprised how he can make that blanket statement. I'd be happy to speak with him about that.
4 other law enforcement sources in 2 countries tell ESPN that this figure, 1/3 of Russian NHL players being extorted, is easily accurate and that the problem is ongoing. Cunningham declined to discuss his findings on the depth of the problem, but said the National Hockey League stands ready to work with any players being extorted. The Russian mafia's pervasive violence and economic appetite create a stifling atmosphere of fear and denial among both Russians and Americans familiar with the situation. One unidentified current NHL player related his experience to investigators.
The player at first didn't say anything, denied knowing anything about extortion. Then the player said, and it seemed like almost a relief, The player told me, he said, look, I'll tell you this once, and then I'm not going to tell you again, so don't ask me. I'm not going to testify, but I'll tell you about being extorted. And he proceeded to tell me an involved story lasting a period of several months where he was systematically extorted by an individual that we know to be connected to Russian organized crime. And this extortion included threats to his family, requests for six-figure payments, threats to blow up his car, and then actual acts of damaging his property and threatening people he lived with.
The Russian mafia has threatened more than individuals. It strong-armed the Pittsburgh Penguins out of a business venture in Moscow. 4 years ago, the Penguins began a partnership with the Central Red Army team, CSKA. The legendary team became known as the Russian Penguins. For 2 years, Pittsburgh's venture was a success. But according to multiple sources, by the spring of 1995, the Russian mafia had taken control of the team. Pittsburgh owner Howard Baldwin said he was never threatened, nor did he have any direct knowledge of mafia involvement. But, says Baldwin, someone exerted influence over his Russian partner, and Pittsburgh began to find itself being cut out of the deal. Baldwin, seeing reports of mafia violence, became skittish, and by his own admission, he was scared away.
Russian organized crime figures ended up moving in on the operation. And depending upon whom you talk to, the Russian Penguin, the American owners of the Russian Penguins were either eased out by Russian organized crime, or Russian organized crime just decided to become sort of de facto partners with the American owners.
The Pittsburgh Penguins lost over $500,000 trying to do business at the highest levels of Russian hockey. In Russia, hockey intersects both politics and violence. In April, this man, Valentin Sich, the longtime head of the Russian Hockey Federation, was murdered outside his home north of Moscow. Detroit Red Wing Slava Kozlov was quoted afterwards in the Detroit Free Press, calling Sich, quote, a bad guy, corrupt. That is why somebody killed him. It is not a surprise to me.
2 independent U.S. intelligence sources tell ESPN that Sich, the murdered head of the Russian Hockey Federation, worked for the KGB during the time of the Soviet Union, that Sich's espionage activities were more than merely minding the members of his nation's hockey delegation on trips abroad. The Senate investigation into the Russian mafia also uncovered new mafia entry points into American sports, tennis, and the NBA.
I have heard some evidence of Russian organized crime also attempting to, or actually extorting, basketball players from the former Soviet Union, and in one instance, a tennis player from the former Soviet Union.
One source tells ESPN that an NBA player faced demands for a six-figure payoff to prevent violence to his family. Law enforcement sources also say Russian mafia figures were observed at the Lipton Championships earlier this year in Key Biscayne, Florida. Investigators say extortion in tennis extends beyond players from the former Soviet Union to those from former East Bloc countries. There were 34 such players in the tournament.
The National Basketball Association says it has no information, not even rumors, that any of its players have been approached by the Russian mafia. The Association of Tennis Professionals, the ATP, tells SportsCenter that no player has ever come forward to tell of extortion by the Russian mafia.
Thanks, Bob. A recap of today's top stories up next on SportsCenter, plus highlights from the lone afternoon game. Mets, Reds, Bobby Jones going for win number 11. This is SportsCenter.
This old man, he plays on my floor. With the knick-knack, paddywhack, every dog bone. This old man keep rolling on. This old man, he plays six. He plays knick-knack with my sticks.
Available at Foot Locker.
New Castrol Super Clean All-Wheel Cleaner is uniquely formulated to instantly release brake dust and road grime, so your wheels will look new, even if your car isn't. Castrol Super Clean All-Wheel Cleaner outperforms all leading wheel cleaners.
For 35 years, I did the sports in 4 minutes. Now you got this channel with breaking news, highlights, scores. You know, I was doing sports bloopers back then. Well, we used to call them goofy gaffes. Same garbage.
ESPN2's arena football season begins tonight at 7:30. Florida Bobcats invade Madison Square Garden to take on the New York City Hawks. Mike Adamle and Mike Golick direct the madness. Yesterday, Cubs and Expos in Montreal. Top of the 8th, Sean Dunston at the plate. He hits a chopper back to the mound. He grabs his leg. News today, he has a strained left hamstring. He's listed as day-to-day. He'll be re-examined tonight when he gets to the ballpark. He's missed just 5 games so far this season. Well, American umpire Mike DeMuro went to Japan to teach Japanese umpires proper officiating, but DeMuro's quit over what he calls a lack of respect for the umps. Last week, he ejected a player from the Chunichi Dragons for arguing a strike call. The player did more than just jaw his way back to the dugout. He pushed DeMuro in the chest as his teammates ganged up on him. Neither the club nor player apologized. DeMuro said the major leagues in the States would never have tolerated such an attack on an umpire. Jack.
As we head toward the Tiger Woods effect at the bottom of the hour, we headline the top stories on this Monday evening. Free agent receiver Brett Perriman has come to terms with the Kansas City Chiefs. Perriman, 94 catches for Detroit last season. KC also signed Kevin Ross, coming home after 3 years away and 2 different teams. The Phoenix Coyotes have named Jim Schoenfeld as their head coach. Schoenfeld just got fired as coach of the Washington Caps after that team missed the playoffs. He also once coached the Devils. Washington signs up Ron Wilson. Wilson had led the Anaheim Mighty Ducks to the playoffs but lost his job due to philosophical differences with the front office there. And San Jose names former Blackhawks coach Darryl Sutter as the Sharks' new boss. San Jose has had the 2nd worst record in the league 2 years in a row. Charlie?
Mets and Reds this afternoon. Bobby Jones in search of his 11th win of the season. Bottom of the first, no score. Runners at the corners. Willie Jones grounds to first. Oldroyd makes the play at the plate. Score is 0-0 until the top half of the second. Mets already with a run in. Butch Husky on third, and Bobby Jones helps his own cause with a base hit into right field. Husky scores 2-0 New York. Bottom of the 7th, Jones runs into trouble when Jeff Branson tattoos a 2-run home run to right center field. Branson's first of the season. That ties it at 2, but the Mets score a couple in the 8th. And here is the 4th run of the ball game on a wild pitch. John Olerud scoring, and the Mets go on to win it 4-2. So Bobby Jones wins his 8th straight, going 8 innings, giving up 2 runs, 7 hits. Struck out 4, didn't walk anybody. Jones is more than halfway to 20 now. Last Met to win 20 games, Frank Viola in 1990, when Sweet Music was 20 up and 12 down. Still ahead on SportsCenter, the latest on Warren Sapp's brush with the law. Is there a dangerous career could go up in smoke? And we'll go inside the fast lane and a change in cars for Jeff Gordon. The answer lies ahead when SportsCenter continues.
When Quaker State sponsored Jeff Gordon finished first at the Daytona 500, maybe it was luck. And maybe when Quaker State teammate Terry Labonte came in second, it was just another good day at the track. But with Quaker State's Ricky Craven coming in third, you just have to wonder, is there something special in this team's blood or in their engines? Quaker State, the quality the Hendricks Racing Team demands, the quality your car deserves. Quaker State, a clean sweep at Daytona.
You guys gotta find this jerk. I would never charge for my autograph.
That's disgusting. We'll take your case.
You sicko! No longer will you sour the sweet game of baseball! Gary Coleman?
What you talking about, baseball detectives?
Last Saturday afternoon, according to the Tampa Tribune, Tampa police received an anonymous tip saying that Warren Sapp, the Bucs defensive end, would be in a certain neighborhood at a certain time. As it was, he was, and they were. And Sapp was busted, charged with marijuana possession. Sapp coming off a solid season last year with 9 sacks, entering the 3rd year of a 4-year deal with the Bucs, worth more than $1 million a year.
I wanted to take him when we were at Minnesota, and I believed in him at that point. I still believe in him. He knows that he's got a high standard to live up to because of some of the things that happened before the draft, and we talked about that, and I think Warren understands that. There's no such thing, I guess, as, you know, one strike and you're out type of thing, but I trust my judgment will be fair if and when it comes to that.
Of course, there were significant questions about Warren Sapp on draft day 1995 when he was expected to be a top 5 pick, but he was taken 12th overall. After an ESPN report quoted sources that Sapp had flunked 6 tests for marijuana and 1 for cocaine. Sapp denied the story. The NFL never did confirm it or deny it. But if Sapp is convicted of this misdemeanor charge, he could be suspended by the NFL for up to 6 games this season. Jack?
Charlie, the tire went flat, but Jeff Gordon's crew kept him pumped up by getting him in and out of the pits in fast fashion. That gave Gordon the chance. He capitalized on it and won yesterday's Pocono 500 to pull into a tie for the season points lead. With news on Gordon and more from the auto racing world, here's John Kernan in the fast lane.
When Jeff Gordon goes for his 2nd straight win this weekend in Michigan, it will not be in the new Hendrick chassis that won the Winston last month. Crew chief Ray Evernham says they have more work to do on that car, but a reliable source has told me that NASCAR told Evernham not to bring the car back to the track. Apparently they feel it is far superior to all the rest. However, NASCAR denies that it has outlawed the new Hendrick Motorsports chassis. So what car is Jeff taking to Michigan this weekend? How about old reliable Bob? It's the same car in which he won the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte with last month. Just a week after Richard Jackson's team signed sponsorship for the rest of the season with R&L Carriers, driver Morgan Shepherd has decided to hop into another ride. Shepherd replaces Bobby Hillen in the Jasper Motorsports Ford owned by Doug Ball. Shepherd finished 12th Sunday at Pocono.
This was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made in my life. First of all, Richard Jackson and the whole family, the team, are such good people. The chemistry was there, you know. We could never really seem to get the sponsorship that we needed to go on and get going.
With Shepherd out, Jackson has decided to go the youthful route. Late Monday, he named Jerry Nadeau as his new driver. Nadeau has never driven in a NASCAR Winston Cup event, but last month at Charlotte, he finished 2nd in an ARCA race. Formula One rolls into Canada this weekend, but native son Jacques Villeneuve will get back there late. FIA, the series governing body, has ordered Villeneuve to come to Paris for a meeting this Wednesday. Villeneuve has made some highly critical remarks concerning the rules changes next year, which include grooved tires and slimmer chassis. He also has yet to sign with the Williams team for next year, prompting rumors to fly that he would return to the PPG Kart World Series. But Italian media reports that Villeneuve's business managers are set to buy a majority interest in Ken Terrell's team, so that should really start the rumors to fly. After a 23rd place finish Saturday night at Texas Motor Speedway, Blueprint Racing and driver Sam Schmidt have agreed to discontinue their relationship. Blueprint Racing retains the car number 16, while Schmidt keeps the Dallara chassis, which he owns. Tommy O'Brien, co-owner and team manager, says the team was not improving, and they felt it would be best for Schmidt to drive for another team, while Blueprint looks for another driver. From the fast lane, John Kernan, ESPN.
Thank you, John. RPM tonight helps break in the new California Speedway from Fontana, California, beginning a week from tonight. All week at 7 Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, leading up to Sunday's California 500 on ESPN2.
Fast Lane is brought to you by Firestone, America's tire since 1900.
Still to come on this Monday SportsCenter, the Bulls in a bear of a situation. We check in at the deadlocked NBA Finals.
The new Firestone FT70C was tested at 50 miles per hour against the Goodyear AquaTread 2. The difference in the Firestone tire is Unity technology. The Firestone FT70C stopped an average of 12 feet shorter than AquaTread 2. Your results will vary, but that's a lot of feet. The difference is Unity technology in the new Firestone FT70C. Get a $25 certificate from the Sharper Image when you buy 4 Firestone FT70C tires.
We're in
the car business, not the document business. That's why we use an outside specialist. Like us, they're quick and precise. They have a dedicated account manager who comes right to my office. I like it when things get done without me having to worry.
Every day, over 200,000 businesses use Kinko's, the new way to office.
Come in now and play the Kinko Salute Small Business Sweepstakes. You could win one of 1,000,000 prizes.
Now My McDonald's has more than your favorite food. We have your favorite music, the Disney Music Collection with great songs from your favorite Disney movies like The Lion King,
Hakuna Matata,
Aladdin, even a song from the new Hercules movie. You can get a CD or cassette for under $4 when you buy a Happy Meal or any large sandwich.
This is really good music.
So hurry into My McDonald's before it's over. And right now, you can get an extra value meal starting at just $2.99, only at My McDonald's.
Soccer sure has changed since I played. 30-foot rises. Contracting goals. This game is nothing like we could have ever imagined. And it all started with All Sport.
All Sport, with a third more carbs than Gatorade. The game will never be the same.
When Gustavo Kuerten, the 20-year-old Brazilian, completed his most unlikely run of the table at the French, he also became the 15th ranked tennis player in the world, jumping 51 places. He entered the French with a career record of 9-14 on clay and promptly blew away Muster, Medvedev, Kafelnikov, and Bruguera, who between them had combined for 65 clay court championships. Other players moving up on the Monday following the French: semifinalist Patrick Rafter of Australia up 8 spots to 17. Sweden's Magnus Norman up 25 places to number 40. Quarterfinalist Galo Blanco of Spain up 39 spots to number 72. And Philip Billy DeWolf rocketed from number 58 to 122. Jack.
Charlie, he will change the game with shots that only he can hit and towering blasts off the tee, which render classic courses weak and wrinkle the brows of those who run country clubs as thoroughly white as the starched, stiff linen tablecloths in their clubhouse restaurants. But Tiger Woods' reach goes well beyond the obvious social tsunami that his tremors may inspire. Steve Cyphers now from America's Heartland.
The best place to measure a surge in golf's popularity is a place where golf hasn't been all that popular. A place like Greeley County, Kansas. With 1,800 people, it's the least populated county in the state. It's almost 800 square miles of farmland and feedlots. But there is a golf course, a 9-hole course, where this spring, because of Tiger Woods, there's at least one new player, Landon Schaefer.
He influenced me to start. I started because of him. Otherwise, I would have never started.
It started that Sunday afternoon of the Masters.
My mom had been watching it all day, and I came in from outside, and I was watching the 18th hole with her, and he went off course, and he went over to play it, and Fluff got lost, and he had to find Fluff, and then he hit it and greened it, and it was just exciting.
So exciting that days later his school project focused on Woods' record-setting performance. So exciting that he got a poster at a Walmart 90 miles away. So exciting that he tries to play every day. But when he can't, there's always the backyard.
Out there, I mainly just try and pitch it, and there's a horse tank. I can imagine that's the green and try and make it go onto the green, go into the tank.
Is this going to cut into farm work?
Yeah, it will.
You're smiling.
Well, I don't know if my dad will let me off very often or just once in a while, from tractor driving and working and checking the pigs and everything.
The popularity of golf may not have passed the traditional sports yet, but at Landon's High School, the pressure's mounting to offer golf to the 105 students.
They've been interested in golf for a while out here, but the Tiger Woods phenomenon, particularly with the young people and particularly with the community people saying, hey, we need a golf program, let's get one started. And I assume we will have a boys and girls golf team at this small school in the future because of the golf phenomenon, the Tiger phenomenon.
And apparently the phenomenon transcends age. Jim and Kathy, Landon's parents, joined the local golf club in the town of Tribune just 3 weeks after playing the game for the first time in their lives.
We saw Tiger Woods on television, and he made the game look easy. We thought we'd give it a try.
Jim is a farmer. He spent his life in these fields of wheat where literally the deer and the antelope play. Here, good farming weather, plenty of rain, still rates higher than good golfing weather. But in western Kansas, far from the country club scene of the cities and suburbs, farmers do relate to golf.
You know, you can go out and hit 15 bad shots, and boy, you hit that one good one, then you're hooked again for another 15, and that's probably the way farming is. Boy, you miss 3 or 4 crops because of Mother Nature, and you're still after that next good one, you know, and you get one that's just pretty good, and you're ready to go again.
Prairie Ridge Golf Course is where the Schaefers go to learn the game Tiger Woods inspired them to play. There is no teaching pro. Green fees are cheap. Just put your money in the box. The driving range distance markers tell it like it is. And when the range balls are gone, like Jim, you just jump on the tractor and go pick them up. Tee time? Whenever you're ready.
Do you have golf shoes?
No, I don't.
You don't have spikes yet?
No, I still wear my farm boots.
But boots aren't a bad idea at Prairie Ridge.
There's snakes everywhere. Just everywhere. Bull snakes, rattlesnakes, everything.
Hole number 3 is called the Snake Pit. There, Landon never searches for a ball without an iron in hand.
Throwing a rat.
Seen a rat?
Yeah.
They may not talk Tiger's language.
I think we got gimmies.
Gimme, so we just pick them up?
Yeah.
All right.
They may not have his form. But they do know how he feels when the shot is made.
Get in there, there it is. Get in there, good job.
This joy, this game, this new family activity could not have come at a better time for the Schaefers. Last July, Landon's 11-year-old brother and best friend, Ty, was killed in an auto accident.
That's been one reason I've been kind of enthused about it, is it's something that we can do, the 3 of us together now, and not that we enjoy doing it without him, but it's something new for us to take on, a new challenge.
I don't want to forget anything about Ty and the things we've shared together. That memory is still there, and it's just kind of an ache and a hurt. And this is just something that we can go out, and it's something new that the 3 of us are going to do.
It brings us together a lot and gets us out instead of thinking about it all the time.
They now look forward to the many new memories they'll create, the ones that began watching Tiger Woods. But what started with the excitement of a 15-year-old boy and then his parents does not end there. Landon's grandfather, who hasn't played golf in too many years to count, has said he'd like to play the game again. The Schaefers can't wait to take him out. In Tribune, Kansas, Steve Cyphers, ESPN.
Probably all 3 of us on the green.
Thank you, Steve. A full hour on the Tiger Woods effect is coming up at the bottom of the hour. And as usual, Charles Barkley has weighed in with his view of the effect, complaining that golf courses are getting just too crowded with people who don't have a clue about how to play the game. It is not known exactly what Barkley's first 18-hole score was, but it is believed to have been over par. Before we get to the Tiger Woods effect at the bottom of the hour, we go to Congressional, where U.S. Open champ Steve Jones is ready to defend. And coming up next, a report from the NBA Finals, where the Jazz have put the Bulls' feet in the fire. SportsCenter continues from Utah in a minute.
I just want to show them I'm the best fighter in the world.
Go toe-to-toe with modern-day gladiators and learn what drives them to fight.
I do this game because I love what I'm doing.
Comcast brings you a pre-fight spectacle of boxing excitement leading up to the main event. Holyfield, Tyson, the rematch. Go behind the scenes of The Sound and the Fury with Comcast Night at the Fights. Live from Las Vegas, this special presentation puts you in the front row. June 28th, 2 to 9 p.m. Eastern, Comcast interviews the fighters and talks with the biggest names in boxing. Can Iron Mike's legendary rage return him to glory?
You may call it rage, I may call it discipline.
Will this be a battle to the finish?
They don't make no different what distance to go. When it's all over, I'm the winner.
Holyfield, Tyson, the rematch. Exclusively on Comcast.
Working to improve sports for the fan.
With this new helmet, ESPN commentators can interview a batter while he's at the plate. Slugger Mickey Mantle demonstrates.
Hey, Mick. Can you hear us, Mick? Is this distracting?
Boycotted by players, the helmet did lead to a breakthrough in coverage for all sports. ESPN Sports Zone with Peter Gammon's baseball column, player profiles, everything you need to be a better fan. ESPN Sports Zone, technology for you.
Sounds pretty good. Can I see the guitar?
You play?
I've been known to.
That's cool. What's your name?
It's on your guitar.
Since 1873, original Coors, pure and simple.
NBA Finals Report is brought to you by Original Coors, pure and simple, the last real beer.
This year's NBA Finals features 4 of the top 50 players of all time, but keep in mind those players, Jordan, Pippen, Stockton, and Malone, are all over the age of 31. Is age starting to play a role in the NBA Finals, Jack?
These are no longer youngsters, Dan, so age is somewhat of a factor. But I think more importantly for Michael Jordan, the fact that he's the man on offense, he's the guy that takes all the critical shots at the end of the game, plus the added burden of having to chase Jeff Hornacek down the floor and around screens. That takes its toll on Michael, who says he's physically and mentally fatigued.
Scottie Pippen playing too many minutes?
Yeah, I think so. Pippen played 47 minutes in Game 4 and was exhausted at one point in the game. So I think he needs more rest to take advantage of the skills that he can bring to the game.
John Stockton usually gets about 10 minutes of rest per game. It looks like Karl Malone's the one guy who is not really fatigued at game's end.
Yeah, Stockton seems fresh throughout the time he's on the floor, but Karl Malone has the added advantage of playing the other team's big man. That means on defense, you run the straight line back to the basket area. You don't have to chase anybody around the edges. That enables him to conserve his energies to run the floor on offense and get good position at the offensive end. But bear in mind, these guys are all in superb physical condition.
Karl Malone, of course, is the oldest first-time MVP in league history, although he's a little sensitive when you bring up that word old. On Monday, he once again took a couple of shots at some of the younger players in the league.
A lot of them new ones at home now watching a lot of us old. And, you know, and the reason I'm saying it, you know, you tell a Michael or you know, Scottie been playing for 10 years, you tell these guys that they're too old, and all of a sudden now, you know, I've had young guys tell me at the scores table, hey, old man, grandpa and all that, you ought to leave this game for us young guys. I don't know. Some of these young guys, would you guys like to be talking to them right now? They probably, well, probably half of them will be late. And then you guys wouldn't have enough chairs up here for all the entourages, too, so.
If you're a young player in the league, you could do worse in finding role models like Jordan, Stockton, Pippen, and Malone.
Stockton and Malone have missed a combined 8 games between them in 25 years of NBA play. Jordan and Pippen are the best defenders at their positions in the league. They are the best role models you could come across.
Our coverage of the NBA Finals will continue. For Jack Ramsey, I'm Dan Patrick. Let's go back to the studio.
Thank you, gents. Girls having some fun there, huh? Tiger Woods is loaded for bear. The Phenom gets set to chase his second major in his second major as a pro. The Tiger Woods Effect, the 1-hour special coming up at the bottom of the hour.
New Castrol Super Clean All-Wheel Cleaner is uniquely formulated to instantly release brake dust and road grime, so your wheels will look new, even if your car isn't. Castrol Super Clean All-Wheel Cleaner outperforms all leading wheel cleaners.
You don't see this every day, but you do see Wendy's 99-cent super value menu every day with our Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, Caesar Side Salad, or Crispy Chicken Nuggets, and they're always just 99 cents. No strings attached.
Hit $250 billion in sales like McDonald's, you're in the Business Hall of Fame. Hit $1 trillion in real estate transactions like the Century 21 system, you're in a class by yourself. You're the #1 real estate system. And when you're this big, you can do things others can't, like average a home bought or sold by our customers every minute, every day. No wonder in a nationwide survey, homeowners said they'd most likely use Century 21 by 4 to 1 over the nearest competitor. So call #1, Century 21.
Housekeeping. Excuse me. Checking out?
Uh-huh.
We'll change the room.
hotels are undergoing a billion-dollar renovation to make every Holiday Inn as good as the best Holiday Inn.
Oh, you're back. Your toothbrush.
That means we're changing a lot more than the sheets. Holiday Inn, on the way.
The 97th U.S. Open begins Thursday, but the games surrounding the Open began today. Tiger Woods arrived and registered at 251 with the clubhouse. Woods, who's never played the course at Congressional Country Club before, worked the front nine this afternoon. Of course, he's not alone in his quest for the season's second major, and on that, Jimmy Roberts reports.
We're about 15 miles from the White House. In case you'd like to get in a late afternoon round, just a quick ride by chopper. Behind me, the 18th hole here at Congressional, the object of some controversy this year. For the first time since 1909, this championship will end on a par 3, and it's become something of a tradition. Father's Day weekend, our national championship, and of course, severe conditions. This year, 7,213 yards, the longest course in Open history, and it's a par 70. That means there are only 2 par 5s. Of course, there'll be fast greens, and as always, U.S. Open rough.
The rough is as long as I've seen it at any Open, and it's been pretty long at some. Shinnecock was pretty long, but right now, gosh, it seems like it's just hay out there, and I don't think they're supposed to cut it anytime this week at all, so it's just going to get longer as the week goes on.
The U.S. Open, to me, is as much a test as physical as it is a mental test, and you know, a lot of the rough is visual, mental, whatever you want to call it. It's hard to look out there and know that if you hit it in it, it's a stroke, basically a stroke loss.
Don't get in it. Definitely don't get in the rough. You don't have to play out of it.
Good weather forecast for the rest of the week, and that should make conditions even tougher. And remember, in the last 2 years, a total of 3 players have broken par in this championship. At the U.S. Open, I'm Jimmy Roberts. Now let's head back to the studio.
Thanks, Jimmy. And ESPN's U.S. Open coverage from Congressional begins tonight at 8:30. Join hosts Chris Berman, Andy North, and Jimmy Roberts, who begin a busy week. The crew's in Bethesda, Maryland all week for reports on every edition of SportsCenter. The tournament itself begins on ESPN Thursday, 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Second round coverage on Friday, same time. But next on ESPN, Outside the Lines looks at the effect Tiger Woods has had on golf, from fellow pros to fellow kids. Bob Lee reports on the 21-year-old's impact at 7:30. We're back after this.
On the way to a top-secret street luge course in the remote backwoods, the fellas met some guys who were in an old movie about a canoe trip. Whee! Fun and games on the X Games Trail.
X Games, presented by Keystone Light.
Hey, best man, time for your speech.
I remember Ted's first wedding. He knew his way around. What was the lady's name? Kathy. I feel like I know almost better than Ted.
Don't be a victim of bitter beer. Drink Keystone, America's never bitter beer. Never a bad taste, never a bitter face.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you.
Stop making...
Marcelo Balboa is the defender with attitude. Brian McBride is the forward with firepower. Colorado versus Columbus, Sunday at 5. MLS on ESPN.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Microsoft Software. Where do you want to go today?
Chad Curtis, the much-traveled outfielder, is traveling again. Traded tonight by the Indians, where he was hitting just .207 in 22 games, to the New York Yankees for David Weathers in George Steinbrenner's doghouse from the moment he arrived in New York. Weathers banished to Columbus earlier this month on his way to Cleveland.
Top stories this evening. Kansas City signs a couple of free agents, Brett Perriman and Kevin Ross. Jim Schoenfeld now is going to be, Ron Wilson's going to be coaching the Caps. Jim Schoenfeld's going to be coaching the Coyotes, and Darryl Sutter is going to be coaching the San Jose Sharks. Next SportsCenter at 11 with Keith Olbermann and Linda Cohn. For Chris McKendry, I'm Jack Edwards.
I'm Charley Steiner. The Tiger Woods effect next.